I am under control.
This particular event is the premier historic car event in America.
There's more Ferraris here than probably anywhere else. This is definitely the cream of the crop.
The old cars just have a certain sense and passion about them. The way they look, the way they sound, and the way they feel. They're multi-dimensional art forms.
You know, the nice thing is that the egos of the drivers are not in excess of the occasion.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, we got these
We're here for
true
the cars.
gentleman drivers.
We're here for the cars, and it's quite obvious not for ourselves, and that's the great thing.
It's really wonderful cars. Generally, all of my friends here are wonderful people, great camaraderie. It's really enjoying the motorsport, enjoying the cars. It's fabulous.
They're more into the social aspect at Laguna Seca, the historics, than they are in the absolute winning. Although I'd like to win.
I've always been a car fanatic, and once I went to college and then graduated college and pursued a career and got married and had children, 20 years of your life, you end up removing all things of pleasure to be able to move to the next part of your life. I first just started collecting cars that I liked. Dino 246 GTS Ferrari that I bought 7 years ago. And then I started getting passionate about it and getting my head into it. And I went to an event called Cavallino, which is every year down in Palm Beach. And there's a racing portion of it where the Ferrari Historic Challenge has their first venue of the year. So I happened to go over to the track and saw these wonderful cars going at it, and was able to just immerse myself and really set up for what I would call, a considerable hobby.
I was always interested in cars, and I had sports cars from the time I was about 22 or 23. My mother actually had wonderful sports cars when I was very young. I never got to drive them, but I started to race at about 26 or 7. I was actually encouraged by my wife, who thought it was a good idea because I was getting frustrated and wanted to go back and play competitive golf, which she thought I'd be a has-been at. So this was a chance to do something that was new.
When I was 10 years old, I first heard the word Ferrari and saw pictures of the cars, and it just created a lot of attraction. You know, I was just attracted to what the cars sounded like, looked like, and it's been a dream for pretty much all my life. I started racing about 25 years ago. My day job is related to old vintage sports and racing cars. I broker them and buy them, sell them, trade them, repair them, restore them, and love them. This weekend we have the Ferrari Historic Challenge, which is being run at the same time as the Steve Earle event, which is another historic event. So, and the reason why you see so many Ferraris is because of the Ferrari Historic Challenge here the same weekend with the other event, with Steve Earle's event.
I was racing a long time before I ever met John. In fact, I'd given up racing when I met John, or just restarted, really. Years ago, I drove in autocross, rallycross, and then circuit racing, and I was a works driver for Ford. And then I went away and raced horses instead.
Have a good one. I was already a member of the Aston Martin Owners Club. I bought my first Aston when I was 21 years old, which was a few years ago now. And I've stayed loyal to them for 30-odd years. And in fact, I did give Gillian her first Aston drive after we met. And it's probably, I think I'm right in saying, the only occasion where we've both raced in different cars in the same race. And she beat me.
The whole idea of vintage racing is to recreate the dream, relive the past. You know, I was 12 years old or 10 years old when these cars were running, and I wanted to be there. And the reason why I'm here today is because I had the dream then, and I am realizing it now, today.
Some years ago, race cars really didn't have any position or place. There wasn't anything to do with a race car. Race cars were obsolete tools almost immediately, and so we came up with a concept of just doing a motor race, but for old cars, as in terms of a public event, so it's open to the public. Staff it the same way as you would any other professional race, with all of the additions that are there, and let everybody enjoy their cars, and hopefully encourage them to restore them and do it.
What they do today is they have classes, and they make the classes the same today as they would have been 30, 40, 50 years ago. The same cars are competing against one another. There'll be Aston Martin, Ferrari, Corvette, Jaguar, Porsche, Mercedes. Just the same cars then will compete in the same classes today, so it's very much the same.
1961 Ferrari 250 short wheelbase. It's got all the chassis and mechanical parts of that race configuration with a steel body. So I guess it makes it a little interesting, special, whatever you want to call it.
The car was made in 1960. The car has been a race car all of its life.
This DB4 GT is instantly known by all sort of aficionados of the marque by the registration number 17TVX. This is a very famous car. It was run by the works. It was run at Goodwood, Le Mans, Silverstone, Brands Hatch, a lot of the European circuits.
It was run by a lot of very famous drivers. Jimmy Clark, Innes Ireland, Roy Salvadori, Tony Maggs, and won and placed on podium in 6 major races.
Brought a 250 short wheelbase Berlinetta, the one that sits behind me. You can communicate with an old car, in my opinion, so much better than a modern car. You can talk to it directly. You can feel it through the seat of your pants, through the steering wheel, through your feet. I mean, it's just an incredible experience. You become bonded and at one with the car.
This particular car didn't have a great deal of provenance in its heyday in the 60s, and now that it's been developed for racing and it's doing a fair amount of racing, I think that that helps its provenance, helps to keep it in the public eye, and probably won't do its value any harm at the end of the day.
It is a piece of automotive heritage, you know, we are driving here, and it might have done some racing in the past, we don't know, but the real, you know, racing history, you know, with this car started 4 years ago.
Well, I think it's passion, because there's certainly no money to be made in this. All you do is invest money in these cars. I mean, one could justify it in some ways by saying, well, okay, I paid $100,000 for that car 10 years ago and it's worth $600 today. You know, so in a sense, the incremental capital value almost pays for the money you've spent on tires, engine rebuilds, etc. But that's a funny way to look at it. I think most of the people are either they love to drive one marque. You've got Ferrari nuts, you've got Aston Martin guys like Goldsmith and Freeman, or you've got pre-war guys, you've got guys who like single-seaters, you've got people who like Maseratis, and then you've got people who just like virtually any car, and they like to race, and they like to be with their pals, and usually it's a lot of fun.
Well, we have practice today. But the practices are a combination of practice and probably qualifying times for the race on Sunday. Whatever we have is what we'll deal with and do the best we can. And, you know, we have 25 minutes to get ourselves up to speed, or 20 minutes. Hopefully within, you know, 5 or 8 laps, I'll have caught on to what I should be doing and be able to get my times down to where they should be. I know the track well. I come here every other year or so. It's not like my home track, but you know, within 2 or 3 laps, I'll have familiarized myself to where I was before. We'll see how it goes today. Yes, we'll see whether I get to where I should be. On Sunday morning, when I see the grids, I'll know whether I did or I didn't. It's all in how they set the grids up. The grids will be set up primarily on a couple of flying laps, and to get clean flying laps are going to be tough.
I have a small shop that prepares the cars, and it's pretty well sorted, so we don't really expect anything to happen. I mean, if a Ferrari is prepared well and looked after and maintained, they're quite reliable. So we are crossing our fingers and banking on that. And quite frankly, we've had good luck vintage racing Ferraris. Prepare them well, look after them, and they look after you.
I'm a big car lover. I love to drive. If I have a good outing and I have a good time at the end of it, time meaning on the stopwatch, I don't necessarily have to win. The winning is nice, but it is certainly not the most significant item of events like this. It's all about seat time. Yeah, I mean, it's always advantageous to drive as much as you possibly can to improve your times.
I'm ready. I'm as ready as I can be. I mean, I've always loved racing something. When I was quite small, I used to race donkeys. I was a donkey jockey for racing. Then I raced horses, and then it was an act I just loved driving. As soon as I got behind the wheel, I loved cars, and I found it just very similar in a way to riding horses. The balance, the feel, the judgment, and the sympathy you have to have with an animal should be the same as the sympathy you have with a machine. Then you make the cars last longer with least stress. I love it. I just love it.
I think when you're out there actually driving, it's pretty intense, and you're not thinking about much of anything. It gives you the capability to really focus and not be distracted by much of anything.
The people you race is the one exactly in front of you. And when you get by him, then it's the next guy. That's how the race works. You don't know who's in there necessarily, but you just go for the car all the way down.
The car for about 24 years now, and I've raced it I've raced it continuously through that period. I do as little as 3 and 4 races a year in some years, and I've done as much as 10 races in the car during that period of time.
You've got to think of the car like it's got, balance and feel like an animal. And, it does work. You've got to feel the car. You've got to be able to wear it, not sit in it and operate it. There's a difference between people who drive it, just sit and operate the car, or people who feel it. And it's the feel that's the fun. It's the smoothness. If you can spread the G-force evenly through the corner, with long eyes, as I call it. You want long eyes and a good feel in your fingers, and you balance the car with your right foot, on the accelerator, and that's what makes a smooth driver. And always, the smoothest drivers, they're the ones who keep doing it. They're the ones who don't break the cars. They're the ones who get the professional drives. You can get, guys that look quick or girls that look quick and they're rough, and it doesn't last. When this car's got the correct gearing and the same tyres, we're about the same performance as a short wheelbase 250 Ferrari. The GTOs historically and now are always quicker unless they've got a problem or they're not driven 100%.
Corvette is fast. The white car I can't beat. Did have a little bit of a problem spinning the car. I spun the car. It was not a good day. This car needs the brakes.
Yeah, the brakes.
Totally. You need to take the pads and deglaze them.
Yeah.
And we need to re-bleed the and I have no brakes on the car. And the tires are also gone there. I got the tires heated up because I needed the brakes, so that I had
went
to
away.
I got the car. So it was.
When did you lose the brakes? So when you spun it?
I lost the brakes long before that.
Yeah.
Long lap and a half before I was going. That's why the tires went, because I had to go sideways around every corner.
Yeah, well, the trouble with the brakes is they only slow you down anyway.
That was a bad part.
Upper on this one, right?
On this one, yes. Yes.
How was it?
It was not a happy moment.
Yeah,
I just don't have many happy moments today. My moments today were relatively not good.
It's only one day.
It's a very, I would call it a technical challenging track, because you got the uphill, you've got the corkscrew, which is an amazing event on the track in and of itself. I mean, that corkscrew, this is the first year, I've come here maybe 15 years, and this is the first year that I sort of got friendly with that corkscrew a little bit. I started understanding. So each track has secrets, and it takes a while to learn the secrets. But once you do, it's an amazing thing. It's like the mystery of life is all revealed at the racetrack. It's all an adventure when you get out there. You leave the pedal down and slide through the corners and just, it's like a waltz, truly.
Know why you're in here? No. This Stewart wants to know why you're going off and on the course so much.
Off and on?
Yeah, we got like 5 calls on you 2 wheels off.
I don't know.
If you didn't notice, we just wanted to remind you to watch out.
Do you know where?
I can look.
Just curious.
Yeah. We had 3 calls from turn 8 and 1 call from turn 6. 8 is going to be, I think, the top of the corkscrew.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then 6 is going to be start breaking up the hill, I think.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Just want you to be aware of it.
No, thank you.
All right?
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Continue having fun.
Thank you very much.
Marshall was asking me why 2 wheels are going off the track in a couple of spots. Sometimes you can drift off of the, yeah, you're using up all the track, and you can sometimes put a wheel or 2 off, but it didn't spin or anything, it just sort of went to the edge of the track.
And the Martians don't like that?
Well, it's all right, nothing happened. You know, the car stayed straight, we kept going. But they just wanted to let me know that they were watching, which is good. It's all good. Like to have more seat time, you know, that's always the thing. I don't run the car enough, I'm not in it enough to really get it exactly where I know it should be. But there's always hope, and we improve, we evolve. That's what racing's all about.
I instituted a rule that said if you have contact sufficient to cause damage, rather than saying if you have contact. If you have an incident sufficient to cause damage, then you're excluded. And a lot of people misconstrue that to mean you can't race. It says nothing about racing. You're expected to race. You can race as hard as you want. You just can't run into things. You know, you can't go in and punch the guy up the back end, or you can't drive into the side of him, and you can't make silly mistakes. That's all we're saying. You can be as fast as you want. If you think about it, there aren't many times that Jackie Stewart went in and took the wheels off of somebody's race car trying to get by. So if that's the level that you're setting, it is possible. It's just that you don't necessarily meet that level. So get it under control, or we can't do this.
Serious historic racing in England, for instance, is pretty cutthroat. Nobody's going to throw you out if you run into somebody else, right? There can be contact. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's certainly stimulating because you're trying to win and you're trying to do your best.
I think the attitude in Europe is that it's a race car, it was built as a race car, it deserves to be driven as a race car. And shunts have happened throughout that car's life, and they're going to keep on happening. But as long as they're properly repaired and all care is taken and due safety regulations observed for the track in Europe or wherever, why not give it all the stick you can?
In England, it's a lot more aggressive. When you're over there, you can pretty well be assured that you'll find red paint on the side of your car because people do get together. Over here, people don't like to have accidents. Cars are valuable, and it's a little less frenetic.
Five years ago, I would have said the racing in Europe was what you wanted to do. But as I get more mature and I understand where they're coming from here, I think that what we're trying to do here, preserving the cars, providing an entertainment, is something that's worthwhile. And I can understand what Steve Earle is trying to achieve. But I think it's a fallacy to think that either of us go into a race meeting without any intention of trying to do the very best we can.
You can't stop racing drivers.
You can't stop racing drivers being racing drivers. It's just that the rules and restrictions here are a little bit tighter because they want to make sure that there is no contact, which I respect. And obviously one does drive just that little bit more carefully in order to try and avoid this having the spin or the contact.
Everyone who's here generally are sporting and gentlemanly, but are competitive. They're generally successful people who can afford to race on an amateur basis in historic cars. And, you know, I mean, a little bit of Darwinism, it's not unusual for them to be competitive.
Well, the driving here is at quite a high level. I mean, the cars are going nearly as quick and in some cases faster than they did when they were new. To do that, you've got to have a high level of responsible driving, which is here. And that's what makes it exciting, because everyone is here and everyone is enthused and everyone's adrenaline is flowing, so it just adds to the whole charisma of the event.
Steve's philosophy is it's about the cars. Nobody here is going to get a contract with McLaren next year, but these cars can't be replaced very easily. So he wants to see the cars as the stars rather than the drivers. So I think people hide their egos a little bit here rather than, you know, go hell for leather all the time.
There is a broad spectrum here that we can all operate under and have a really good time. And so our whole effort is to cut down the over-aggressive stuff and say, get the adrenaline under control. It's preventative is what you want it to be. You don't want the accident to happen, and you do everything that you can reasonably to prevent it without infringing on the racing. We just say, if you're racing, race, but you can't run around racing, pumping guys off the track.
I've had one or two dents in the car, and I feel badly because the car is almost like an animate object. It sort of helped me learn how to drive, and I like the car a lot. I love the car, so I try to protect it.
They've recently resurfaced the track. It's dead smooth, much smoother than it was, and it's a nice track to drive, and there are corners where you can take a little bit more liberty than perhaps in other places where it's a bit more restricted, particularly here, turn 6. You've got to be very careful on turn 6 because it closes up on the exit and it's easy to run off the road there.
In an event like this, there just seems to be more grassroots enthusiasm. The modern racing scene is somewhat corporate, and there's, a big money factor, let's say, involved with, winning or losing. And with the old cars, everyone generally is here because of pure enthusiasm and love for the machinery. More, I could say, in many respects, there's more of an artisanship about the cars and the people. And it's just more fun for me.
Getting ready now to do race group 3. We'll run that grid down for you in a moment.
You go into the paddock and walk around and see the pits, see the cars being worked on. You can touch any of the cars you want to touch. The people are there. They want you to be conscious of their car because you support them, and they're doing all this work ultimately so you'll enjoy the cars going around the track.
We've always met here because I live in the Bay Area, so I'm close. He's in Southern California. So this is kind of a time that all our families get together. There's a lot of people there. You can see all these tents.
It's kind of a gathering of the clan.
The great thing about this paddock is that it's an open paddock and open to all the spectators. And every car, no matter how great, how small, has a nice little history board against it. And there are some people here who are very wealthy, and the cars are of international fame, and they're in strong hands. And on the other end of the spectrum, there's my wife and I in our old 1972 Superior motorhome, and we've been going to races like this for years, and we camp out and bring our cars with the open trailer and just kind of hang out here and enjoy ourselves. And it's just a real fun way to spend a weekend, and I can't think of a nicer vacation short of the south of Italy.
When I was little, I was just sort of used to come along because I had to, but now I didn't actually have to come, but I choose to. And like, this is a free holiday, basically.
No, I mean, I think a lot of people think that we do have a pretty nice combination with everybody in the family happy to go down the motor racing route. We're lucky. I know that I get full support from Jill when I'm away racing and vice versa, and often we're doing it together, and that's fun.
Everyone sort of is mostly like friends here, like people who like I've grown up with, and everyone seems a bit more friendly, and sort of everyone knows, and everyone's like hi, and everyone knows each other.
I was driving the Corvette, the 58 Corvette at Sacramento when the owner came to me and said, "Young Lou, come across the pits with me. I'd like you to introduce you to somebody."
Yeah, somebody else might need some.
And so he says, we were walking, he said, "This fella's having a hard time getting started. I'd like you to give him a little bit of advice if you can." I said, "I'm only a kid myself." We got over there, and there was a young man standing next to a white Porsche with his hands in his pocket, kind of looking down and pacing a little bit. And he said, my sponsor said, "James Dean, Lou Brero." And I said, "I've seen your movies. You do a good job." And he said, "Boy, I wish I could drive like you." And the crowd sort of giggled because he was very dangerous. It was his first race. So we talked a little about racing. I just told him, enter the turns slowly, go through them briskly, and come out very fast, and repeat the process until it's smooth. And once you're smooth, you'll be fast. And we agreed to meet at Salinas. Now, I was driving towards Salinas, and I had the little Japanese radio on the dash, and I heard that he was killed on the way to the Salinas race, which is only a few miles from here. And my father actually won that race and lapped everybody twice.
We love sharing the cars with the people who want to come by and are car lovers themselves. I think it's important to keep the sport alive by making sure that those who don't have the means to own these cars have access to them. I think that's vitally important. And I think if you asked any of the serious players in the sport, that is a big commitment they're making, as well as having fun for themselves.
So this car is a car that raced at Le Mans. And the reason you can tell that is because of the yellow dots. You know what they're for? Those are called fire dots. And this is a fiberglass car. And if you had a fiberglass car, the yellow dots would tell you that you fought a fire of fiberglass. And so the fire marshals or anyone on the track could therefore know what was going on with this car if it had a wreck. And all cars, depending on their construction, had dots that would signify how you fought a fire. The car is called a GT40. This is heritage. We went to Le Mans, I say we as Americans, with Ford, and we relished the fact that we went over there and beat the boys on the other side of the ocean. But of course, you know, in 1939, Maserati came over to Indianapolis and kicked our ass. So, you know, what are you going to say? It always happens. So please relish this beautiful car that, again, is brought for our enjoyment. One thing about coming to Monterey, remember, it's a moving art festival, not one you just walk down the roads and look at the pictures.
I am under control.
I used to go racing with it when our daughter was very small, you know, and to the horror of the other drivers, she needed a nappy change or a feed just before I went racing, so I don't have a routine. I'm as relaxed here as I've ever been because I haven't had to work.
My dream is just to be first, whatever that time is. It'll, you know, I know that I'll have to be around 148 or 149 to get there.
It doesn't get any better. This is fabulous. I mean, I just love it. I mean, some people get frustrated with the crowds and all, but it just takes a little planning, and you know what, it's very rewarding. But for a spectator too, who's really a car person, you know, it's a fabulous place to be. And just, you know, get yourself organized well before the events and you'll have a good time.
There are two rewards. As I said, I have a son out here, so I get to do that. And then there's the reward of being in with a group of cars that are some of the most beautiful and historic cars that show up at races in America. This is the premier event in American vintage racing.
I'm not as good a driver as some of these gentlemen here who are really phenomenally well trained and very experienced drivers, amateur drivers. So I'm doing more time to be able to get better at it. That doesn't mean when I get better at it I'll do less, but I feel like every out for me, every time I get to get in the car and get track time is valuable for me to move up my you know, my qualitative side of my driving.
I had a good start, gained a couple of places, got in front of the Ferrari. The Ferrari is a bit more nimble and a bit quicker down the straights. And I let him in. I mean, stupidly, I let him up the inside into the corkscrew. It was the most stupid thing I've ever done, I think. I was just a bit careful into there because I'm aware that I don't really know the track. And I was much, much too generous to him, and I just sort of almost said, help yourself, and he did.
I tried to get to the white car, and I just couldn't make it. So the white Corvette.
I think I started pacing myself and slowing down a bit because I wasn't going to catch the leaders. You know, the other short wheelbase and the DB4 GTs took off, and I had a bad start. You know, not a bad start, I just didn't get off the line very well. So I decided to just sort of stay in that mode. And then suddenly the Healy just started gaining on me, and I actually had to get to work to get rid of him. But it was interesting. You know, he was a good driver, and he was handling his apex as well, and you know, that's where he was gaining on me, and then I had to, you know, work to get rid of him.
Well, should have been better, but it went all right. Would hope for more, but it went well.
The Ferrari, I was so annoyed. I was, you know, trying to catch him and be with him. There were some corners that I was quicker at, but I need to throw the car in. And there were other corners that, you know, he was a bit more neat, but I couldn't get a run on him.
Ferrari is in fifth spot. Number 21 car of John Goldsmith's Aston Martin. They'll be running sixth and
So it was just cat and mouse all round. It was good fun. But the best fun could have been at the last corner.
we're both stretching out of the window here to see what is happening. Yeah, they're catching up to Chuck Day in the front.
When we caught up with a very slow car, and the other two took a tight right line round to the left, and the slow car was on the right, and I was praying he'd move out to the right, and I would get a run on him.
You've got four cars coming out of that final corner. It looks like Reinhardt's going to end up probably in the sixth spot. The number 22 Ferrari crosses the track in fifth.
It could have been a different result, but what the hell? You know, it's good. It's good fun.
The weekend was great. It's beautiful. You can't beat this weather, and you can't beat the cars that are here.
I couldn't split myself two ways today, even though my heart was here at the track. Would much rather have been here, but
obligations required that I was to remain with the car, and that was being shown today at Pebble Beach. We got up real early, took the car out of the truck and cleaned it, and just gave it a final preparation and detail so that it would look its best as we brought it down to the field. Well, the whole event takes quite a while as judges come by and they look over the car, they ask you questions, make sure that everything is working and in proper functioning order, and that the car is in the exact condition as it was when it was manufactured as new. Well, it was a very busy weekend, and like you say, it was very satisfying because, again, I'm a racer at heart and much prefer being at the track, and we thought, well, maybe we can do both, so we tried that this weekend, but in the future we're probably just going to remain here at the track.
It is very casual, it's very, very nice, relaxed. You know, you can walk around here, you can walk within the track and you can watch the races. You know, it is an atmosphere you don't find at other places in Europe. So I really, really, really liked it here. And people are fantastic and something special.
And what's the next event you're going to go to? Lime Rock, which the same group puts on a East Coast version. Are you going to be there?
Yes, of course.
Well, I'll see you. And you, next up for you is?
Well, we hope we might do Spa in Belgium.
Okay.
If we can get the car back to Europe in time.
Yeah. All right. Then they need to get your flippers on.
Yeah, we've got to get it moving.